Well, hello everyone, welcome back to another video of some F1 22 game news. Today we're going to take a look at a couple of articles, but first of all, before we go into those articles, it's looking like we might be getting some DLC tracks. Now, I'm going to bring you back to this. It was in the a couple of videos ago actually that I mentioned this little disclaimer thing. This is the thing that comes with the game, basically the terms and conditions, and note again the certain circuits part. Now obviously I previously speculated at the time that was meant that we could be getting updates to other circuits like Austria, for example, and the USA. However, there's been a turn in events since that I made that video. First of all, Austria and USA are already updated in F1 22 as well, so those long-awaited tracks are already updated. I imagine maybe Belgium could be DLC, but free DLC post launch, but you know, I mean, they didn't update the Spanish Grand Prix for that one turn, so I doubt they're going to go and remap Eau Rouge for this year's game as well. But that's just thinking about it, you know. Also, there was that quote from the previous video that said that when asked about classic tracks, Lee Mather, in the interviews he's been doing with creators and so on, didn't say no. He didn't say no. He said watch this space as well in a couple of other interviews as well. So, yes, that I would love to see classic tracks in the game. It's something that the community have been asking for years. Obviously, the ones that I think will probably in the game, and the one I've made many videos on these, what tracks I want to see over the years. But just quickly, the tracks I think will probably be there. More tracks have been in the more recent games. Portimao, for example, definitely, because otherwise that's going to be the shortest lived track on any F1 game ever. We're probably going to see Vietnam potentially. That's another one from F1 2020. Even though we never raced around there, they spent the time and effort putting the tracks. They might as well just add it. Hockenheim as well, F1 2019. That would be such a nice track, and I know that might get a bit more interest from German viewers and German players of F1 as well. And then obviously maybe even going as far back as maybe Malaysia and Turkey as well. One of those two might be making a real life appearance, because of course there's still that TB ARAN, and those are the two that are most linked with that slot to replace the Russian Grand Prix. But let me know which tracks you want to see in the comments below. I know I've covered a few there as well that have been in F1 games of the past. Obviously, as I said, I'll try and remember to leave an I think the video I made back last year of my little sort of list that I wanted for F1 22 as well, so you can go and check that out as well. Now through to the articles then. Again, as usual, if you want to read these for yourself, links in the description below. I've only taken snippets of the articles, of course. Now, for those of you who are interested in the Supercars of F1 Live, the full list of sort of game modes you can have are Time Attack, Checkpoint Challenge, and the Pursuit events, which were originally those classic car events from F1 2020, pretty much similar. There's also now Autocross, not entirely sure what that is. If someone wants to take a punt or knows what that is, let me know in the comments below. Drift, Average Speed Zone, and then presumably a rival duel. Not entirely sure how that's going to work, whether that's going to probably be an AI rather than an online player, but there we go. Obviously, as I mentioned, 2 safety cars and those 8 supercars, if if you haven't, the good point at this moment in time, if you want to know what's the 8 supercars that are in F1 Life, then I can go and check that previous video out as well. On this final bit, we already know that they're not going to be used in Grand Prix mode or multiplayer. Definitely multiplayer. You never know, we might get to see them in Grand Prix mode, but it's looking unlikely because of FOM putting their foot down in the first place. On multiplayer, I presume they'll do the same with Grand Prix mode, but we'll have to wait and see about that. So yes, the next screenshot is from the audio settings. So here's how you fire David Croft and replace him with Alex Jack. So yes, obviously, I don't just a few other things. This looks like they're trying to make it a bit more immersive with the audio as well, because I don't really remember the onboard mix and the speaker type, and even the engineer ducking. So there's a whole lot more with the audio to try and bring that realistic feel to the game through the settings as well. So yes, obviously this is only a screenshot. I don't know what other settings there are. There's a radio setting as well that we can see, but I don't know what type of settings as well there are. But yes, you even got stuff like audio assists as well to help you going through. So that upshift tone, didn't they have that? I can't remember if they still have this in real life, where it beeps when I remember then they developed it where it would beep to tell the driver that to shift up as well. I don't know whether or not that's still a thing in real life or not, but I presume that's what this upshift tone is. Now the next two screenshots are, just in case you haven't seen already from other YouTubers, there is here's how you line up for your grid slot from the formation lap. I don't know whether or not how skipping that's going to quite work yet as well. And then here's also your turning. Notice for Pat losers myself, it's it's not actually, you don't actually press the joystick or turn the wheel. It's a button. It's A as well, A to turn in as well. So that's something to note as well for pit stops. But yes, speaking of pit stops, during the presentation, Mather revealed that the team's pit crew will be upgradable, and it's better than that because driver and my team career modes will be both. Now this is something that was in the game previously, I think, back in F1 2017, and only in F1 2017, but it was part of the R&D tree as well, and part of the R&D tree, if you recall back to F1 2017, there was like the tree with the 4 departments, but there were also some crosses to that tree with some accolades, and it wasn't accolades, it was some other achievements if you'd done stuff as well. I can't quite remember what achievements you had to get. It was 5 years ago since that game has come out, but I imagine, will it be something the same here? Because you're not in driver career mode, you're not paying your team, whereas in my team you are. So it'll be interesting to see, even though that it's confirmed to be both, how they differ between driver career mode and my team career mode. Also mentioned is AR heat map. So this looks like it's going to replace track acclimatization and basically have a heat map of how close you are to the driving line as well. Might be a little bit better because, bearing in mind, I still use it for the corners. I've tried to turn it off, but you have, the problem is I've been using it for so many years that I have that visual memory of the line to take through the corner, but only when the driving line is on. It's a bit weird, I know, but that's what happens when you have a visual memory like mine as well. Departments events have all been reworked, and there are some scenarios which can have short-term and long-term effects, which is good because they were pretty much non-existent. One example was given that the team's facilities, which can be ignored, but it will cost more to fix in the future than if you dealt the problem immediately. That's obviously money related, so hopefully maybe there'll be a little bit less of a cash cow type of things when you get into later seasons, and you can start again, maybe even be tight on money, for example. We'll have to wait and see about that. So yes, next is a screenshot again from in-game. This is part of the new Podium Celebration. When I say new, it's been revised really. Some of it still is the same, but they reshot certain bit, and they've added this bit where they walk down a corridor. The winning driver walks down the corridor on the way to the podium. Might get a little bit repetitive though, you know. I don't really want to see that for all 10 seasons, excuse me, not 60. We don't have that many seasons as well. And we'll leave you on this about the Miami track, where the advantage of having EA is that the stadium there, because of course it's an American football team, the Miami Dolphins, that their stadium, so they basically borrowed the stadium from that stadium that's basically in the F1 game is the same stadium that's in the American football game, the Madden, EA Sports Madden, if that's how you're pronouncing it, as well. So you know, they got that basic model, and then tweak whatever you need as well. Whether or not the full stadium, so you know, if they just literally copied and pasted the stadium and not taken any of the detail out of it, because of course you don't see the stadium from the circuit, that will be something to have a look at as well. But yes, that's where I'm going to leave it for today's video. If you have enjoyed, then leave a like, subscribe to the channel for news, see plenty more F1 22 game news as and when it comes out. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.